Hey guys, and welcome back to Mad About Skin. In today's video, we're talking FARMACY Skincare. Now, FARMACY is one of the fastest growing skincare brands globally. It has so many fans who adore its locally sourced, ethical and gentle approach to skincare. I'm relatively new to FARMACY as a brand, but I've been trying some of their best-selling products recently. That's what I'll share with you in today's video. We're going to take a look at the brand itself, and of course I'm going to be sharing my thoughts, feelings, and opinions on their products. Recently, we had the announcement that FARMACY were being entirely bought out by Procter and Gamble, one of the world's biggest multinational corporations. This of course has huge implications for FARMACY as a brand themselves. Whilst we might all love their ethical, gentle and really locally driven approach to skincare, we're probably less enthusiastic about Procter and Gamble's reputation for animal testing, sourcing in conflict zones and deforestation. All of this will have an impact on us, the consumer, and that's what I want to delve into and pick apart in today's video. So sit back, relax and let's talk FARMACY Skincare. Now before we get into this video, there's a couple of things I want to caveat. First and foremost, we're going to be talking throughout this not only about the brand itself, but also the buyout. We often automatically see a negative when we hear the word buyout. That's because as consumers, we've been stung in the past. You only have to look at L'Oreal's buying out the Body Shop, where within like 6 months, they changed everything about the brand that we loved. The same goes for so many other buyouts. However, they don't all have to be negative. I think we all took a very sharp intake of breath when it was announced that Estee Lauder Corporation were taking over The Ordinary, one of my favourite skincare brands. However, 18 months later, very little has changed, and the things that have changed, I think, have been for the positive. Estee Lauder have allowed The Ordinary to maintain their cruelty-free status and all their values and ethics that go around them. They've also improved the supply line and the stock levels of all their products, meaning we can more regularly get our hands on our favourite products and ingredients, and that has to be a good thing. So, we're going to talk about it all in today's video, but always bear in mind that takeovers aren't always necessarily a bad thing, even though in recent history we've seen quite a few examples of that being the case. This style of video takes a whole lot of research and investigation, so if you could give it a big thumbs up and a like, honestly it would support me and the channel so much, and I would love you forever. But in true Mad About Skin style, shall we just cut the waffle and delve straight on into FARMACY? Now, as a brand, FARMACY were actually created 5 years ago. I know that seems like a little bit mind-boggling because they seem to have been around for so long, but actually they're a relatively new skincare brand. In that 5-year period, they've actually built up annual sales of $80 million. Just let that sink in. That's how successful they have been. To go from nothing to $80 million in 5 years is like groundbreaking, and I think that's testament to how much effort they've put into the brand and some of the real core values that seem to be appealing to a wide audience at the moment. A lot of people mistake them for being a Korean skincare brand. I think that's because their ethos and gentle approach often aligns with that out of the Asian skincare market, but actually they were born out of upstate New York, which is where they're still based, and source a lot of their ingredients. They really pride themselves on what they call the farm to face approach, which is where they buy locally sourced ingredients, drive up the quality of what goes into their products, because they believe that the higher the quality of the ingredients, the better the quality of the outcomes we're going to get. Honestly, I totally buy into that, and I've never minded paying a little bit more for my skincare when I'm getting a little bit more for that coin. And I think definitely while FARMACY aren't the most affordable and drugstore brand out there, definitely I don't mind paying a little bit more for their products because I know I'm getting really good quality ingredients. They're entirely cruelty-free as a brand, which I absolutely love, and they have some really great environmental and sustainability commitments on their website, which I definitely would encourage you to read. All around, I'd say they're just that good guy brand that does everything local, really wants to have the highest quality standards and values, and honestly I'm all in favour of that, which is one of the main reasons I wanted to try some of their products. Of course, any brand, no matter what their ethics, are only as good as the products they actually create, so let's come on to those now. I was able to try 3 products from FARMACY. They're their 3 best-selling ones, but unfortunately they've got so much more to offer, I just wasn't able to get my hands on all the products. So if you've tried any other products than the ones mentioned in today's video, sound off in the comment section below. What were your thoughts, feelings, opinions? Would you recommend them? Let's get that conversation going because I'd love to try it more from the brand. First off, I tried the Deep Sweep BHA toner. So this is a fantastic 2% salicylic acid toner that glides onto the skin. It'll get into the pore, flush out some of the dirt, the debris, those blackheads, and can really help with congested skin and people that suffer with blackheads, particularly around the T-zone where we often build up that excess oil. I wouldn't be without my salicylic acid fix in my skincare routine because I have super oily and acne prone skin. But honestly, I think that this product is gentle enough to be used by all skin types. Whether we're the most driest skin type possible or like me, super oily and acne prone, I think we all suffer from some element of skin congestion and blackheads, and this can be a really, really great product to treat that. Not only do you have that powerful 2% salicylic acid, you've also got some really nice botanicals to kind of double down on the benefit of that. And I just think overall, this, after using it for a month-long period, left my skin much more clear, free from blackheads than it was before I started, yet my skin wasn't sensitive, stripped, or dried. A lot of people compare and contrast this to the Paula's Choice Liquid Exfoliant, which is the same strength, but I say hands down, Pharmacy wins. Not only is it half the price of the Paula's Choice, I honestly thought I got better results from it in terms of minimizing blackheads and the appearance of pores, and it definitely didn't cause any irritation, sensitivity, or redness on my skin. This, I think, is a ding 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 holy grail product that just about everyone could benefit from. I then moved on to the Green Clean Balm. I think this was the first product they launched that kind of took the market by storm. This is a really rich cleansing balm, and honestly, I fell in love from first use. So cleansing balms aren't something I use every single day. If I've got a lot of multiple layers of SPF or a lot of things I want to shift in the skin, I need a more heavy duty cleanse, I'll go with a balm first and then follow with a gel cleanser. I often feel I need to follow with that gel cleanser because the balms leave a little bit of a film on my skin. Not with this one. Honestly, this got off all the dirt, the debris, the SPF, everything I wanted it to, but disappeared without a trace like that. Once you've massaged this into the skin, add a little lukewarm water, it emulsifies, turns beautifully milky, and then disappears without a trace, taking away a full makeup, SPF, and everything you want with it down the sink. Hands down, this is one of the most effective cleansing balms I think I've ever tried. Didn't leave me feeling stripped or dried, and was just super effective. It's a little bit more expensive than some of the others on the market, but when you really consider the quality of ingredients going into this, I definitely think it's worth the price point they want to charge, and it's one that I'll probably be buying time and time again. The third product I tried from them was the Daily Greens Oil-Free Moisturizer. Now, trust me, take it as from someone who has super oily skin, it can be really difficult to find an oil-free moisturizer that actually does something meaningful in the skin. Often, these oil-free moisturizers just disappear without a trace, zero moisturization left behind. So it can be really hard to find an effective one. Honestly, this ticked every box. Didn't break me out, didn't congest the skin. It disappeared without a trace, so it didn't leave me feeling like I was wearing a mask. But honestly, it left a beautiful veil of meaningful hydration behind. I absolutely love this. I will caution that I don't think this is going to be applicable for people with drier skin types. I think you're going to want to use something a bit more heavy duty. But for us oily skin folk out there, this could be a real game changing, particularly for those warmer summer months. Now, of the 3 products that I've tried, this is probably the one that I'm least likely to repurchase. Not because it wasn't fantastic. Honestly, I've just fangirled about it for like 2 minutes, but because I do think there's some more affordable oil-free moisturizers on the market, such as the Face Theory Super Gel Moisturizer, which is half the price of this, but delivers the same benefits. However, if you love Pharmacy, you have super oily skin and you want a great moisturizer, this is a really good option to reach for. So, whilst I've only tried 3 products, I was definitely impressed with the formulations, and you can see that quality of ingredients going into them is definitely delivering extra benefits from the products themselves, which is something I'm definitely happy to support. However, I know a lot of people are really worried because they've reached out to me in my DMs about the takeover by Pharmacy as a brand by Procter and Gamble, one of the biggest multinational corporations. Whilst I said a lot of the time we maybe have a negative take on these takeovers, which doesn't always materialize, sometimes that is the case, and I think what's most worrisome about this is the totally polar opposite and divergence values of Pharmacy and what is now its parent company, Procter and Gamble. I honestly love and adore brands like Pharmacy for really driving forward the narrative and making the actual change that I think is needed in the industry. I think what worries me most about this takeover is the fact that the 2 brands, the parent company and Pharmacy, are so divergent. So we talked about how amazing Pharmacy are as a brand and how they're leading the way. And really, I think of the future of, our own purchasing decisions and the brands that we really should be supporting. You then compare and contrast that with Procter and Gamble, which, let's be honest, are probably one of the worst in multinational corporations on the market. Yes, most multinational corporations don't always do a whole lot of benefit to the world. I appreciate that. But when you compare and contrast, Procter and Gamble have a pretty shady record. In fact, it was so bad that their own shareholders actually called them out and held them to account for it. These are people that actually own money and investments in the brand, said, no, the board of directors, you've got to step it up. And this was specifically around deforestation. deforestation. Procter and Gamble had a really bad reputation when it came to environmental sustainability, particularly around deforestation. And shareholders said, honestly, enough is enough. You need to do something about that. Procter and Gamble's response was, okay, this is non-binding. Okay, you voted, for us to do more, but this is non-binding. At some point in the future, we'll do something about this. What this all comes down to is their suppliers and the people that supply the raw ingredients for the Procter and Gamble products, be it toilet roll through to skincare, have been proven and tracing back to some of the biggest deforestation events in our primary rainforest. We can't afford to lose these habitats. The fact that Procter and Gamble say, okay, at some point in the future we might do something about that, not good enough, because these suppliers are never going to change unless the people that are actually buying their ingredients, their products, say, no, stop this, enough is enough. Similar to this, they're actually one of the world's biggest consumers of palm oil. Now, palm oil is problematic for a number of reasons. First and foremost, it causes deforestation, because a lot of suppliers will cut down primary rainforest to plant palm, which obviously has much less biodiversity and is problematic in itself. But also, there are some ethically sourced palm oil alternatives on the market. Procter & Gamble aren't interested in that. No, they want to go for the cheapest and the most affordable palm oil there, and they pack their products full of it. I think the world over the last 3 years has actually taken a big turn against palm oil. People realise how damaging it is, and lots of people are actually reading the ingredients lists on their products to make sure that they're palm oil free. Some brands, Procter & Gamble included, have got wise to this and then disguise it as an ingredient in amongst other things. They might call it, a vegetable oil, because technically maybe it is, because then people don't associate with palm oil and think, okay, it's good to buy this. Again, not right. What you should be doing is changing things at the source and reducing their overall reliance on palm oil, which is one of the biggest drivers for deforestation globally. They also have a very checkered history, again, with their supply of purchasing and supplying ingredients, raw materials from conflict zones, which again, when an area is in conflict, how is it possible to actually make sure that you're ethically sourcing that, making sure that you're not damaging workers' rights, the environment? It isn't possible. They don't care. Whereas Pharmacy actually have on their website a commitment to never source in conflict zones, which is a huge box. But again, polar opposites to their main now parent company. Finally, let's come on to animal testing. So Pharmacy, again, big tick in the box, animal testing freak, which I love. Procter and Gamble, one of the biggest animal testers globally. Now, they've said that they're going to phase it out over time. However, they're still committed to selling into the Chinese market and haven't used any of the opt-outs available to them to limit the amount of legally required and mandated animal testing by the Chinese government. This is just such a retrograde step, and I love the fact, I applaud that brands such as St. Ives have actually said, no, until this changes, we are not selling into China because we want to be cruelty-free. We want to put our own ethics above our profits, and that should be applauded. Procter and Gamble, no. Again, in due course, at some point in the future, they might do something about it. It's this sort of attitude that I think is just so like 5 years ago. Action actually needs to be taken, and what I really don't like is every time we buy Pharmacy going forward, we're now going to be lining the profits and the pockets of Procter and Gamble, who ultimately own the brand. This is such a shame because it's, again, another example of some of these big multinational corporations taking over the little indie brands that are trying to do some good and kind of restricting our choice as the consumer. Now, of course, time will tell. It might be a case that Procter & Gamble say, no, we love what you're doing, and actually you can sit separately as your own entity and keep with all these amazing values that you've promoted. And I really, fingers crossed, hope that that is the case. This has happened in the past, again, with Estée Lauder, and The Ordinary is a really good example of this. However, most times it's just absorbed into the wider conglomerate. So every time you spend £1 or $1 with Pharmacy, you're ending up feeding the bad and terrible reputation, let's be honest, of Procter & Gamble, the parent company, the CEOs and the directors that allow all this to go on. We need to make these consumer decisions when we come to purchase skincare, and unfortunately, in a globalized world, most of our favorite brands are eventually bought up by these multinational corporations. I wish that would change. I wish the owners of brands such as Pharmacy would stay strong and say, no, doesn't matter what money you throw at us, we want to put our ethics above that. But you know what? Who knows? Money talks, and this is the case with this brand. So I would love to know what your thoughts, feelings, and opinions are on Pharmacy, of the takeover, and all of that good stuff. I am keeping everything crossed that nothing changes, and we can continue to support Pharmacy, which are a fantastic brand, delivering great products, great ethics, and I think we're really leading the way. Let's just keep everything crossed that nothing changes. But honestly, I'll be on it, and of course, I'll update you guys as soon as I know anything more. Wherever you are in the world, guys, stay safe, stay well, and love your skin. Take care. Bye.